What's going on YouTube? Alphonsus of Team Gradelock. We're coming at you with a Cardfight Vanguard match featuring John on the top part of the camera running the Machinings of Megacolony and Adam on the bottom running the Beast Deities of Grappler. Shoutouts to Domino Paris for that science lead. Anyways, as we get started right here, Machinings, they already are up against kind of a difficult counter to them. In this case, it's the Beast Deities, because in Grappler, they would just revolve around standing your rear guards from their own skills, not just utilizing the regular stand and draw phase that Megacolony likes to take advantage of. And seeing what we have right here from John, when he rides to grade 2 in the 12k attacker, he doesn't really have much else to go with. It seems that he either has a lot of grade 3s or he has a lot of grade 0s. It's either that, or maybe they just want to be a bit more passive with their hands, that they don't want to lose rear guards that they place down on the field. Now, in terms of what Adam wants to do, unfortunately, we don't see much of offense from him either. So we already know that by the time you hit grade 3, hopefully that's when the plays begin to start. But in terms of turn 1s and turn 2 plays for both players, it is extremely important to see if you want to set a tempo for that. And unfortunately for John, but fortunately for Adam, he had to ride into the Machinate card, the Ace, and not the break ride. So automatically, Adam's already having a much easier time in trying to dealing with the Megacolony threat, as that break ride really makes the deck truly shine. Because of course, it's the only card in the deck that actually stuns a Vanguard. Now, seeing him go right in to Ethics Buster, so at least Adam has his break ride. Now, in terms of trying to fill up a field for that, it's going to be a tad bit hard. And seeing him attack with a Vanguard only, it's, something that, maybe I do need to get a lot of cards in my hand, at least have boosters out, because as long as the game plays out like this, it's going to be either who gets their ace card first, or gets that key play in order to really push in for game. And even when you already have both players at grade 3, you really only see 2-3 damage. And of course, some of this is due to some of the heal triggers that go off, especially in this game. And the thing is, even though that you do have heal triggers going off, the unfortunate part is you don't see much counterblast usage on either side, because usually for counterblast usage for the Beast Deities, you want to save it up for maybe, the grade 1, the Samurai, as you can see in the bottom right corner, where of course, if it stands, counterblast 1 to stand. And then seeing Adam finally fill up a field right now, it's unfortunate he wasn't able to get many triggers off of that, and John, with a very timely draw trigger, makes it a hell of a lot easier for him to guard against the 2 rear guard attacks. All it really takes is just a simple intercept to just mitigate those less than 20k columns. Now, seeing when John goes up for his turn, he actually finally manages to able to get the break ride, and immediately, of course, you ride it, because now you want to put pressure on, thinking, alright, now I have to get either a break ride or cross break ride if I want to survive the break ride turn. And seeing what he has gone through so far from the look of his hand, he really didn't see much, I guess, other break rides or cross break ride yet, or maybe he managed to actually get one off of the drop and draw. But thankfully now, John now has a counter to Adam's, full field rush. And I'm going to, okay, now you have the rear guards out, now I'm going to start stunning you, so that you get the least amount of pressure out of yourself, and then now it's going to be the opponent that's going to be on the edge, especially with that heal trigger on his twin drive. And now it'll be a good time to activate that starter skill so that you can stun the Vanguard booster. A lot of times people try to go for the Vanguard booster because, of course, you're either going to make your opponent either replace that stunned booster, or you're just going to attack with a Vanguard that probably only going to attack for 11k, 13k if it gains the 2 from attacking the Vanguard. Now, seeing the play right here, Adam seems like he doesn't really have much to guard with, but the draw trigger can at least help him out, get more cards into the hand for guarding power, especially when he's setting up for the break ride turn. Now, at this point in the game, 4 damage to 2. Grapplers have gotten themselves in a really rusty, I guess, situation. But thankfully, with the draw triggers that came out 2 turns in a row, he keeps adding cards to his hand to prepare up to see, okay, do I want to put him at limit break or do I not? And of course, if you want to disagree with me or you have any other pointers you want to actually point out to me in this match, feel free to comment down below. And seeing what John's going to be doing for this turn, he's probably just going to be building up his hand right now. He's actually pretty free to do whatever he wishes to just, okay, I'm just going to let you hit me. If you crit me, that's okay, because, hey, I'm just at 2 damage, so I'm probably just going to be at 4. And if you double crit me, might as well just put myself to 5 damage, which is kind of like, you know, not bad, but at least you have a better chance of actually having the heal trigger go off. Because believe me, having the heal trigger not go off in any situation is pretty bad, especially if you're trying to do a break ride skill that depends on a continuous skill. And of course, you know, if you get the heal trigger, you have to heal, so you probably have to end up losing out on that continuous skill. Now back to the match, we see Adam going for a break ride over break ride. And now John's thinking, alright, he did the break ride over break ride, but I'm only at 2 damage, so I should be alright. So of course, alright, let's go through the steps one more time. We're going to attack with both rear guard columns first at the Vanguard to see what he gets, and then attack at the Vanguard, stand up mostly everyone, and see what happens in terms of John's guard. Unfortunately for John, he managed to build up his hand quite a bit, even though that he did some early guarding in order to kind of prevent himself from being too overwhelmed with the break ride / cross break ride turn. What Adam is doing right here, I find it very interesting. He's only attacking with the rear guard. I guess he wants to save his counter blast for something else, but I guess what he wants to do is just to try and eliminate the rear guards, because of course the rear guards that you see, at least on the left side of the screen of John's field, you get to see, of course, if it hits a Vanguard, you get to counter blast one, and you get to stun any rear guard that you see. Of course, it's a special counter blast for the Machinings, but you know, of course, that's a very timely target to point out, especially if you don't want to guard against that. Let's see here. Let's see what John has. Yep, we see a break ride being damage checked, so therefore that's a little bit of pressure off of Adam. And John's running, okay, I need to break ride something. But of course, if you keep at it with your attack pattern, currently you're actually very good into setting up for, oh hey, I can just break ride and just try and ruin your complete strategy and even prevent you from getting cards to your hand. Let's see here. Yep, as we see the Vanguard making another attack yet again. Adam's like, alright, can't take any chances, might as well. And thing is, seeing John, he drove checked that double heal trigger. It's kind of sad that he's not able to heal all that often. It seems that those were the last heal triggers in his deck. So whatever's going to happen next is going to be a pretty uphill battle for John if the triggers aren't in his favor, of course. Of course, utilizing the stun as much as possible, trying to pick out a rear guard in order to not, you know, stand, especially against an over grappler deck and Beast Deities. It's going to be kind of very situational, like, okay, what am I not letting stand? Well, of course, one of the first things is you don't want to stun a front row rear guard, because of course that will only be you know, intercept fodder. And so of course you usually want to aim for the boosters behind. So when Adam goes for his turn, he's thinking, alright, 5-3, not that good, but you know what, let's go in for another break ride over break ride turn. It seems that, you know, he's not getting extreme that often, because if he did get extreme, that 13k defense would have helped him a lot out in the long run, especially with the columns that John has set up for him. And seeing, alright, Rhyhorn, take out those rear guards. Just hope to God that he can't fill up those rear guard columns anymore, because trying to at least predict what your opponent has in hand, you always want to try and check, okay, what were your drive checks? Of course, you know, triggers you're going to remember, but non-triggers, those are probably more important, because then you'll realize, alright, do I want to attack a rear guard, or do I just keep attacking the Vanguard, make him drop hand or take another damage? And so Adams realized, okay, I already took out his rear guards. There's no other place to go but the Vanguard, and that's going to give him the limit break in order to go to, you know, break ride over break ride, or even the Hercules over break ride. So it's going to look really, really crazy. And looking what Adam has in his hand right now, he has a perfect guard, a 10k shield, a grade 3, and it looks like another 5k shield. And of course, in order to even survive and get those 2 cards to his hand from Twin Drive, he has to keep the grade 3 in hand, because with the break ride already in effect, everybody is stunned. So it's hard to really choose, alright, do I want to survive a turn and just skip out, or do I want to go for the risk and hope he doesn't get a crit? So with Adam, what he's doing, alright, I gotta discard something, and he either has, a perfect guard, 2 perfect guards, a 10k shield, and a grade 3. And the thing is though, there's probably not a big chance for him to actually keep the, I guess, keep them in place, in terms of just trying to say, alright, which one I'm going to take the hit. And unfortunately, it was only the crit trigger. So going into game 2, we already have John on a bit of a momentum going up against Adam. And kind of like after game 1, it can be a little bit of a mind game, in my opinion. Because especially when you have somebody that took the first game, now the loser has to say, okay, I gotta win 2 in a row in order to even get that far. But of course, this is just a match just between 2 members. It's nothing really serious. It's not like there's any money on the line, like well in the projects we had before. Now, seeing what we have on these turns seems a little bit more aggressive, at least from Adam this time around. Because now it's okay. I'd rather just rush you down a bit more, so that by the time you get to break ride, you're already at 4 damage, so I can keep pushing in for game. And seeing that particular Vanguard card, you get to swing again, especially when you place on a Vanguard. It's like they have to take it, because, you know, a lot of the Vanguards that you see with only grade 1, you're going to be saying, alright, somebody's going to get stunned, or someone's going to restand again. And with Riot Horn, forget about it. So, seeing what John has planned up to now, okay, now it's his turn. Now, instead of a stand, it's going to be a stun. So, what's better to do than stun the Vanguard booster? Because, of course, when you ride that grade 3, it's only an 11 to the 9, so you can even drop a 10k and make it to the pass. Thankfully for Adam, he managed to save his rear guard in time with just a timely 7k grade 1 5k shield. What am I saying? Anyways, seeing the Vanguard attack, you can see how good that is for John in order to say, alright, just drop 10k shield, hope for 2 to pass. If the guy sacks me, he sacks me, but if not, then okay, I just saved myself for 1 damage. And seeing also the heal trigger that came off of the rear guard attack, now John's in a pretty good position, because now he just has to heal the damage that he just counterblasted. And unfortunately for him, yet again, we see no break ride this turn. We don't get to see Cyclomatus. We just see Hercules. And of course, what John's trying to do, okay, I gotta drop my grade 1s, drop and draw, try and get into the break ride, because the turn that he rides the break ride, now it's going to be a bit more of a race. And seeing the twin drive from him, a perfect guard, and a grade 2 stun on placement, that's going to be pretty good for him in the long run. Although the 2 grade 2s that he currently has right now, the 12k attackers, they are pretty darn good at what they're doing, especially when you don't need a boost in order to hit an 11k Vanguard. Now, seeing what Adam has to do now, okay, it's not that bad of a damage difference, but still, it's something to take note of, especially now that he had to drop 2 5k shields in order to guard with, but still, he was able to at least do, okay, I think I should be able to sack even harder. So, seeing what he actually did was, he actually assigned power to Vanguard to see if he can get an extra damage in. Of course, if that didn't go through, he ended up having Riot Horn only swinging in for a measly 16k or 17k as it goes. And fortunately for John now, we get to see a double crit on 2 damage. And the thing is though, now he assigns a critical trigger to Vanguard, the draw trigger to his rear guard, and then he gets a second draw trigger that he assigned to his rear guard. And so John's thinking, alright, he doesn't have a column up for another attack. So you know what? Maybe I should just attack the rear guard instead. So that was pretty much his plan. It's 29k for that column hitting against his 19. So he would still have to drop 15k shield for that. Of course, Adam's like, alright, I guess I'll take it like that. But I guess if he attacked the Vanguard instead, that probably would have been a better play. So at least you would guarantee cards going out of his hand. But seeing what Adam drew now, he doesn't have a break ride or cross break ride yet. So he's trying to think, alright, how am I going to get a comeback for this? And so John, he goes for the 2 to pass, simple intercept and 10k shield. Twin drive check, we only see maybe what could be like the right column, so 2 5k shields. And now he's trying to think what he's going to attack next. It takes a little bit of a while to know, but maybe attacking the rear guards is the best way to go about it. And thing is, with John, he still doesn't have Cyclomatus, so I guess it's just a race to see who can get their break ride or cross break ride first. So immediately, you're already at 5 damage, so you might as well perfect guard and try and get out any shenanigans. Seeing 2 grade 3s that were actually Job check, Cyclomatus and Hercules, that may have spelled John's fate. But the thing is though, he is at 3 damage, so he is allowed to take at least 2 hits if there isn't a critical trigger on top of there. And kind of like flashing that hand to the camera, he sees, I know I saw at least 2 to 3 grade 3s in his hand, a quintet wall, and maybe a perfect guard. But seeing Adam now going in, seeing how, okay, he drops like 2 grade 3s, so those 2 cards are dead. Whatever he had left in his hand should be alright to go. So you know what? Alright, cross break ride, let's go. Let's start attacking people. But unfortunately, for the first rear guard attack, he landed on a critical trigger. So Hercules is already at 16k. And Rhyhorn, okay, I gotta try my best at it. So fortunately for John, he also has to swing, you know, drop 5k shields for that. But with the crossbreak ride, it's gonna be even crazier. Now John, you gotta use the quintet wall this time. Unfortunately, he has 2 5k shields and like 3 5k shields and 2 10k shields. So that attack wasn't going anywhere with it. So, okay, crossbreak ride skill. I'm just gonna stand. I haven't seen him use his counter blast a lot that often outside of the you know, outside of that grade 2 9k that, you know, of course stands when it hits on Vanguard or Rearguard for, you know, that play for an extra attack. And seeing what Adam has to do here, okay, I have to just guard. And then John's like, alright, now I have a bit of a problem. Because do I just ride the break ride? Of course you're going to ride the break ride. But the thing is, seeing what his hand looks like right now, he has to really fill up the field. Because he has to get in those extra attacks if he wants to get in. Because Adam is at 5 damage. So I'm not sure why he's not just dropping the rest of his attacks. Because now Adam can just simply say, okay, I'm going to drop 2 10k shields and say no pass. You see what he had? He had, okay, a crit trigger and a perfect guard. So maybe he was able to guard 1 attack, but with the way that this is set up right now, Adam has the distinct advantage. We didn't see a break ride yet from him, but let's see what we have. Okay, he has crossbreak ride, and now we get to see the famous extreme trying to go in. And of course, in this case, you just hope to God that he doesn't pull any non-triggers. Because, of course, non-triggers, boom. Oh, okay, that's a Beast Deities, stand and stand. And we see another one. Oh, we're going to stand. And then finally, use another counter blast in order to stand again. And that's another 2 attacks for Adam. So, John, he has to take a damage, but it wasn't a heal. So, Adam takes game 2. And now, a cliffhanger.